Okay, starting a new clip from the stop sign. It's a good place to stop, isn't it? It's a stop sign. Anyway, now we should, as we drive up past the southern road, there's a, okay, we're going to go past Blair National Park, which was the second national park in Australia after the Royal over in New South Wales, and it's the first one in South Australia, the free settler state as we're known, because we didn't have any endemic convicts to this state. They were all either imported from interstate to do works in South Australia. The city of Adelaide was of course designed by Colonel Light, who went on to do Christchurch, New Zealand, which I went to, which is quite a nice city as well. So, and I said I was there 3 weeks before the earthquake, basically, and then the earthquake actually happened on my birthday. So, you know, every time I have my birthday, it reminds me of, you know, the Christchurch earthquake. I said I tried to track down Rodney Boone, but tried to make a few phone calls, but the phone didn't pick up. I sent out a couple of postcards, but yeah, it was. I took round that Bruce Salmon book with me. It's a nice visual book, but it was, I have to be honest, it was totally useless for finding CPs in New Zealand. Either they should be working for bloody ASIO, these CPs in New Zealand, I don't know. It's totally different in Australia. Australia, you know, wherever you go you'll find CPs, you know, in the wet area. You know, if that's why we call it swamp hunting, because wherever you find a swamp you usually find CP. Over in WA in the Northern Territory, you know, it's all these, wherever you go you find some species, then there'll be all the other ones are different, whereas in the southern half of Australia it's always the same usual suspects, but at least you do find CPs, you know, wherever you go, sort of thing. Whereas in New Zealand it didn't seem to be like that at all, you know. So I don't know if Ross Graham can enlighten me to what I was doing incorrectly. I mean, had the book said, you know, not had all that blurb at the front about, you know, all these different types of swamp and blah blah blah, and it should, like, and don't even bother looking for all these different types of swamp, just go to these set locations and you have a reasonable chance of finding CPs, you know, sort of thing. And I went there and there was no real specific times, so when I went to that Kepler track thing, one, I couldn't get up fast enough to go and actually see the Arcturi. And within like 3 weeks of being there, there was like dichotomous in flower, so I missed the dichotomous by about three weeks. So, you know, and it's a nice, like a bluey sort of dichotomy it was. If you look at the photographs of other people, so someone was there about 3 weeks after me at the same location, and that person managed to get all these dichotomous in flower sort of things. So, you know, it would be nice to know that, you know, they flower between this particular time, you know, within a week of this and that. So if you go there now, there's no point. You won't see that. You only see these, and maybe that's what needs to be done. Another sort of table things. I know that some other people in CP books are into tables, like in the Gordon Cheers 2 book there's a lot of tables in there, and I can see that where there are sometimes advantages for tables if they, you know, they actually do something, you know. So, and hopefully I haven't taken the wrong road. I don't think so. Anyway, I think I need to change the subject. It's turning out like a bit of a rant and rave, but so, you know, I think basically what went wrong for me for New Zealand is I did the wrong thing, you know. I took this book into the toilet for 6 months, you know, reading about New Zealand and blah blah blah, you know. Basically it was, basically what the book was saying is that there's a vista around every corner sort of thing, and yeah, I don't think the actual thing quite lived up to what the book was raving on about. So to me anyway, you know, Oh, there was nice vistas here and there, and maybe had I found more CPs, it would have been spegging awesome. I don't know whether it was the lack of the difficulty in finding CPs. You know, you had all these great, as I said, you know, these great vistas and things like that, and you think, whoa, you know, like up in the tropical parts and things like, wow, I bet there's going to be tropical CPs up here, and nothing, sort of, basically. You went out there, and I'm thinking, what? That is really strange. And so, yeah, maybe I'll make this a separate clipping and just get rid of it, because I don't like making disparaging comments, but I'm just trying to be honest, you know. Maybe that's information for people to write CP books in the future, you know. If you're going to write that sort of style of book, make sure that it works in the field, you know. It's no good having a field book that doesn't really work, you know. Having all that blurb at the front about all the different types of swamp and showing CPs and these things, and then it just didn't seem to be like that in the real life sort of thing, you know. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. I did see some comment online about someone having into an argument with an author or something. Maybe that's what it was about, I don't know, but I could see how you could get in, if you meet the author in some place, I could see how you could get into an argument, you know. I bought your book and it was fucking useless. Yes. You know, in the field, you know, I thought, well, I mean, had he called it a field guide to the CPs of New Zealand, you'd probably sue him, but I don't think it was called that. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, sorry about that, sorry Bruce, but you know, that's just my impression I formed, and I don't know if anyone else has formed that impression, but yeah, anyway, I think it's time to pull over because I've got someone up my arse again, so. And it is like almost a one-way street, so hang on, I'll pull in here and let this person go and start a new clip, I think. Got another super sport coming up this way now. Anyway, time to start a new clip.